Hey, what's up guys? Kret here. Got another little video for you. I put together something called Hunter FightScore, and basically I noticed that a lot of people seem to have a little bit of trouble understanding the way that hunters match up with each other in terms of their steroids and how much damage they could put out during team fights. So I created this little way of creating a representational relative balance for them, and I hope you guys can learn something from it. So we got all our gods here, and sort them A to Z. Amuzen Kam, Anhur, Apollo, Artemis, Cupid, Hui, Medusa, Neith, Rama, Uller, and Shibalanki. Now I'm not considering any melee carries. I am not considering any any magical hunters like Freya or Kronos, because we're sticking to characters that can all run the same build, so that we've got a nice, easy basis for comparison. In this case, we're using triple crit, so Devo, Ninja Tabi, Executioner, Rage, Deathbringer, Malice. Obviously, that build's built with an Ichavolt, but you sell it out for the Malice late game. That's what we're looking for. You could do this with any other build, but the point is just to set a benchmark and see how these different hunters compare. And we've done that here. So let's take a look at base value. And base value is basically a hunter's DPS without a steroid active, divided by 1200 to give us basically a percentage, right? So Cupid, for example, without Flutter, his base stats are in such, they're sort of balanced in such a way that he's going to do 99% of 1200 DPS. Whereas Rama, his base stats are a little bit higher. He's going to do 100.7 of 1200 DPS. Hui, down at around 92, has very weak base stats, along with Shibalanki, and we'll see how that affects them later. And Uller has very high, at 110.7, and that has to do with his bow stance, which is a steroid, but like, you literally can't turn it off, right? Like, it's always on, so it's gonna go into his base value there. Now, obviously, there's some weird little things in here, but this is just to give you guys an idea of what's going on. Now, I've named all the steroids that I'm using on a by hunter ratios, or sort of thing. Or using his exposed weakness as his bow stance is already in. Cupid has Flutter listed. It is a steroid and it lasts 6 seconds, so we can talk about it. If not, his fight score would just be 99. So there you go. Medusa using Viper Shot, Shibalanki using both Dead of Night and Branching Bola at maximum stacks, and Rama, this is the important one, using Pick Me Up, which is attack speed steroid, and Astro Arrow, which is on his 1. Now he only gets 5 of those shots, and that's a little bit weird, right? Because he gets 5 shots. They're on a 15-second cooldown to recharge, but each time you auto attack, the cooldown goes down by 2 seconds. And each time you fire an Astro Arrow, there's a 50% chance it'll drop on the ground. Now, that's a lot of ways that the uptime of Astro Arrow can change, so I've just fudged it and folded it into Pick Me Up. So we're accounting for Rama's damage when he has both of his steroids up and when he has them down. And we'll get there. Let's take a look at the next number, which is steroid power, and I'll put that Z to A. Basically, this is the percent increase in damage from the steroid. You can see Neith down here at 0 because she doesn't have one, and Apollo with Audacity, which I accidentally spelled wrong, up at 47% increase, so a steroid power of 47. Medusa also up there at 44, Artemis with 42. Oh, and I should mention that this base value also includes her fully stacked still target passive. That's folded in there, and the steroid we're talking about is Vengeful Assault, because once again, you can't really turn off still target. So this is steroid power in order, and we can see that Audacity, Viper Shot, and Vengeful Assault are the 3 strongest steroids in the game, but that doesn't tell the whole story because steroids have different uptimes. So let's take a look at this next number, the steroid uptime quotient. Now AMC, he's got a steroid power of 27, which is pretty mid-tier, but Hives are always up. So that's going to give him the highest steroid uptime quotient. Shibalanki up there as well, he's got a steroid power of 25. Once again, always up. You can turn it on, turn it off at your leisure, and you basically have it always on. So once again, uptime of 25. Right below that is Artemis. Now Vengeful Assault lasts, I think it's 5 seconds on a 14-second cooldown. So what we do is we take 5 divided by 14, and and then you multiply it by 42. So basically, it's the amount of time spent up divided by the total amount of time to cycle your steroid from the cooldown from the moment you press it till it comes back up again, and multiply that by the steroid power. That's going to give our steroid uptime quotient, which is basically how strong is my steroid in an extended engagement. Let's move on to BurstScore. BurstScore is pretty simple. It is steroid power multiplied by the base value, right? So Apollo has the highest steroid power. He's got a strong base value. It's going to give him a BurstScore of 148. Artemis is 42 with another strong base value, slightly better than Apollo's. It's going to give her 144. Medusa, once again, good steroid power, but slightly lower base value, so 140. Rama, sort of a steroid value, like pretty. It's between the top tier and the mid tier, so it's sort of middling steroid value because he's got that double steroid from picking up an Astro Arrow. That's going to put him at 137. Then it sort of drops off a little bit to the next tier where you've got Uller and Amuz and Cobb bursting up to 128, 124. And then you have all the rest, right? You've got Shablanki, Cupid, Anher, Hoyi between 116 and 111. And at the bottom is Neith with 96, 97. Once again, she doesn't have a steroid. Now, these numbers don't mean anything to you because they're just relative, right? They're percentages of a base value. They're percentages of 1200 DPS, basically. But it's sort of just... It's sort of about the spectrum, right? Like, 96 is the lowest, 148.9 is the highest, and you've got these sort of groupings of 140 to 149, 137 there, 128, 124, and then the 15 to 11 group. So that's sort of how the hunters are grouped in their burst DPS. Apollo, Artemis, Medusa on top, Rama sort of between top and mid, Uller and Amuz and Cobb in the middle, and then Shibalanki, Cupid, Anher, Hoyi down at the bottom. Final thing, BurstScore, once again, is just like how much damage they do when their steroids up. FightScore is slightly different. FightScore is how much damage the hunter does over an extended engagement, over an effectively infinite number of cycles, right? And that's going to be the steroid uptime quotient multiplied by the base value. And AMC comes out on top by a pretty large margin here because the steroid's always up. His base value is pretty good, and his steroid uptime quotient is the highest in the game. Now, right after that, we see Artemis, who once again has a really, really strong steroid uptime quotient, pretty good base value. It's going to put her at 120.5. Then it's really just the mid tier, right? From 117 to 115, we've got Uller, Apollo, Rama, Shibalanki, all putting out reasonable amounts of DPS for various different reasons, right? Like Uller there, his steroid uptime is kind of low, but he's got a really high base value. And Apollo has really high steroid power, but his uptime's pretty low. And then you've got Rama, who's got sort of pretty good steroid power, but once again, lower uptime, but pretty good base value. And then there's Shibalanki, who has a really low base value, a medium steroid, but complete uptime, so he's sitting at 115. There's the final little group at the bottom, sort of 109 to 104, where you got Medusa, Hoyi, Cupid, Anher. Medusa is there because while her steroid's really strong, her base value is sort of and her uptime's pretty bad, right? She gets 5 shots every 10 seconds, and I've explained this in a previous video, but it's 5 shots because of the way you cancel it. You can artificially increase the attack speed. So, and we take a look at Hoyi, who once again has really good uptime, but his base value and his steroid power are on the weaker end. Cupid has really good base value, but his steroid's pretty bad. And Anher has questionable base value. His steroid's okay, and his uptime is not the worst, but not the best. Mostly because his steroid's not that good. So yeah, this is the FightScore, right? Once again, ranging from 125 to 96, Neith on the bottom in all categories. and that's just sort of auto attack DPS over an extended engagement. Burst score is 150 to 96. This is auto attack DPS during your steroids, so how hard a hunter can burst you down. And then base value is how good a hunter is without their steroid, or being on top. Ho Yi actually on the bottom, losing out to Neath. I hope this helps you guys understand hunters a little bit better, how they stack up against each other. If you like the video, like it down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment. There's going to be a Reddit post as well. I'll also link you guys to this document so you can see it for yourself, so you can play around with the filters and stuff. My name's been Kret. It's been a pleasure to make this video for you, and I will see you next time.